What's Crack-A-Lackin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into the episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleaze. Today, we're going to be diving into the Week 9 stardom sit-ems for every single wide receiver. I'll give you green start, yellow flex, high and low in flex. I'll place the player on that line. And then red, obviously, is sit. This is going to be the informational dive. We're going to look at points per game against, some defensive injuries, even rushing yards allowed and receptions allowed by that defense, and some teams that are very, very weak versus the slot, and some plays I like there as well. Now, before we dive into it, guys, make sure you tap that thumbs up button, hit that subscription, helps me out a ton. Turn that bell on so you know when I'm live, you don't miss any single content. I'll be live all weekend long, Thursday to Monday as well. Monday is where we recap everything and see where we were right, where we were wrong. If you haven't checked out drafters.com yet, shout out to the sponsor. Make sure you sign up using promo code SLEAZE, S-L-E-E-Z. You can do best ball drafts, pick 'em, DFS drafts, everything like that. I'll be live on Friday on my birthday, Halloween, doing a couple of those. Got a little surprise there as well for that. And then make sure, oh, I didn't hit that. Make sure you check out the Guys FF Discord that is down below as well. Both drafters and the guys I've ever pinned in the comments in the description of the video if you want to check it out, guys. Now let's dive into the wide receivers you should be starting or sitting in Week 9 with the little mini By-Mageddon of the Browns, Jets, Eagles, and Bucks. Make sure they're out of your lineups. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my wide receiver stardom sit-em board. Green at the top, yellow as a flex. I'll do high and low end flex. I will place in between the yellow and green, in between the red and the green. I've already thought of maybe next week I'm going to do like a bar on the side, like a graph bar. So start sit going up the bar kind of instead of just the flex. But I think I'll get into that next week. And then red is obviously a sit, away team at the top versus down to the home team at the bottom, guys. Now, we are going to kick it off here with Thursday Night Football, the return of Lamar Jackson. The 2-5 Ravens are headed into the 2-6 Miami Dolphins. Over-under is 50.5 in this game, and Baltimore is favored by 8.5. Now, when you're looking at the Ravens, Zay Flowers side. So I'm going to do this again live here while we're doing it because as we talk through it, I changed my mind when we're going. I'm going to put Zay Flowers as a high-end flex play, not as a ultimate start this week. Now, I know the matchup is absolutely phenomenal, right? You get the Miami Dolphins, but like weirdly, oddly enough, when you're thinking of the Miami Dolphins, they get gashed by the wide receiver, or by the running back so much that their wide receiver ranking is number 1 in fantasy football. They literally allow 25.8 points to the wide receiver. That is the number 1 lowest, but that is there because they give up 200 yards on the ground. So that's why I was kind of flex play, high-end flex play with Zay Flowers, because how much are they really going to need him with King Henry about to stomp on the Miami run D? So when you're looking at it, they've given up 77 receptions for 861 yards and 7 TDs. They've also given up 36 rushing yards to the wide receiver as well. Very good numbers. So, you know, it all looks positive, but it's also very, very bad on the run side. So it really kind of hurts every wide receiver group that plays the Dolphins. Now onto the Dolphins side. Jalen Waddle has just been absolutely electric with Tyreek Hill going down. The matchup here is absolutely beautiful. You get the Baltimore Ravens. They rank 31st versus the wide receiver, giving up 40 points a game. They've given up 98 receptions for 1,113 yards, guys, and they've had their bye. So that's already bottom 7 in the NFL. Now add on another game, it'd be even worse. And they've given up 10 touchdowns to the wide receiver, which ties for 3rd most in the NFL as well with 4 other teams. So I love Jalen Waddle in this matchup. Tua's found a little connection with him. They're coming off a big win last week as well over the Falcons. I couldn't believe what happened to Bijan in that game. Freaking crazy. And I also like Malik Washington. So Malik Washington got a touchdown last week, and I have him in between the yellow and red as a sleeper play. He will be on my sleeper video because they're probably going to be playing this game 90% from behind. I don't see the Dolphins being up like last week against the Falcons, running the ball 40 times against the Baltimore Ravens. I don't see that happening. And, of course, Tyreek Hill's season is still over, and I'm not going to put up there Nick Westbrook-Akine. Heading on down to the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 3-5, who are hosting the 4-3 Chicago Bears. Both these teams coming off brutal losses last week. And the over-under is 52.5 in this game. This is going to be an all-systems green game for me. The Bears are favored by 2.5. I can't believe that either in this game. Now, when we're looking at this game here, I like DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, Chase, and Higgins all as starts in this game. Why? Well, the Chicago Bears defense, when we're thinking about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and let alone the fact that Jamar Chase is getting 20 freaking targets a game from Joe Flacco, which is unheard of. The Chicago Bears defense ranks 19th, but they're beat up across the board. All three of their four corners are down. Their superstar Jalen Johnson's down. Their D-line just took another hit last week with 2 more injuries. So these numbers, yeah, they've been good, or, average, above average, or below average at 19. Giving up 33 points a game, 66 receptions, 964 yards, and 10 touchdowns. Again, tied for 4th worst. But those numbers aren't looking at the injuries that they have sustained as well. So that's why the over-under is so high that Vegas is telling you right here. And now when we're looking at the Bears side versus the Bengals, we know the Bengals defense is terrible, but they've actually been better versus the wide receiver. Although Justin Fields kind of had a day against him, which is kind of crazy to say. He couldn't complete a pass a couple weeks before that. And you start everyone versus Bengals defense, even though they rank 13th versus the wide receiver, giving up 30.4, 87 receptions, and 1,135 yards, and they've had their bye. That is a massive amount of yardage. That is why you gotta love everyone in this game. And they've given up 5 touchdowns to the wide receiver. And I think DJ Moore, Romo Dunze are both at least 12-point floor plays, and I like everyone as a start in this game, and I think it's going to be a massive shootout. Moving on to the division matchup, the 3-4 Minnesota Vikings heading into Ford Field to take on the Detroit Lions, who are 5-2. The over-under is 47.5. Detroit is favored by 8.5. And why I like Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison both as starts, we're going to talk about a little differently here because I don't really trust J.J. McCarthy, right? But when you're looking at this game, we know that the Lions secondary is beat up really, really bad. Tons of injuries across the board. Even their D-line is beat up, and they still played lights out last game. But I'm looking at more garbage time here, more playing from behind, more passing volume, and I'm also looking at the Jordan Addison, J.J. McCarthy connection they had in the preseason, which is going to be possibly bigger than people think coming out. Like, people forgot how much he targeted him and how much chemistry they built, and he was never out there because of the suspension when the season started with J.J. McCarthy. So when you look at the Detroit Lions, yeah, they ranked 25th versus the wide receiver, getting 36.2, 80 receptions for 1,077 yards and 11 touchdowns. That's coming in at 2nd worst. So if J.J. McCarthy's got this figured out, hopefully a little bit here, and I don't really like J.J. McCarthy, but I do like these receivers both as starts because I think they both have at least a 12-point floor with touchdown upside. On to the Detroit Lions side, Amon-Ra. This guy is on a different planet. And I don't care what the matchup is. You're always starting Amon-Ra. You get the Minnesota Vikings. They are 7th versus the wide receiver, getting a 27.6. 62 receptions, which is number 1. Phenomenal there. 927 yards and 7 touchdowns. And you're starting the Sun God every single week. But when it comes to Jameson Williams, you know my answer, man. It is up to you because you could either get that freaking goose egg or you can get that bomb touchdown. But I told you guys, if you ever get the chance, sell him as soon as you can so you don't have that nightmare decision weekly. And Isaac Tesla and Thielen, I'm not even thinking about. The 4-4 Panthers, safe to say the Andy Dalton experience was a wrap, are headed into Lambeau Field for a very tough matchup versus the 5-1 Packers, 44.5 over under. And guys, a 4-4 team is a 12.5-point underdog. That is what we're looking at here. So when I'm looking at the Panthers, Xavier Leggett had his games where he has a big game. Then Jalen Coker was the hype, and he's done nothing. I was always a little lower on Jalen Coker. But when it comes to Ted McMillan here, now this guy should see 10 targets a game. And I just saw this interesting tweet that he's got, 31 of the 35 receptions for first downs, which accumulates for like 40% of the Panthers' first downs because no one else is doing shit. So when you're looking at this game, it's going to be a very tough matchup versus the Green Bay Packers, but they're not as tough against the wide receiver as they are against the run. So they rank 22nd versus the wide receiver, 34 points a game, 90 receptions for 1,025 yards and 7 touchdowns. Now, I'm looking at this game as we saw the new Green Bay Packers offense with Christian Watson. It looked way better in the Aaron Rodgers revenge game last week. And Ted McMillan should get 10 targets of garbage time every single game because he's a rookie. He's not going to come out. And Bryce Young is probably going to feed him down 2+ touchdowns in this game, which is why Ted McMillan is going to be a play every single week because the volume is going to be there. On to the Packers side. The nightmare is here. I try to tell you guys, get out if you could from Golden or I'd say Romeo Dobbs still kind of your possession guy here. But we almost have Jaden Reed back as well. And what did I say last week? The answer is going to be Jordan Love. Go buy low now, because look what just happened. One game, kaboom, right? But we do know the Steelers defense is weak versus the pass, so, there's that too. But when it comes to Dobbs, when it comes to Watson, when it comes to Golden, they're all flex plays for me. Golden, obviously the lower flex play. That's why I have him down there lower. And when Jaden Reed comes back, it's going to be another nightmare. So even matchup-wise based, right? You just saw the Panthers get absolutely run over by the Bills. That could be the same thing here with, Josh Jacobs in this game. And Carolina is very good versus the wide receiver. They rank third, giving up 26 points a game, 78 receptions, 949 yards, and 5 touchdowns, because they're getting gashed by the run so much, kind of like a Miami Dolphins situation. Like when the Panthers are number 1 versus the wide receiver, or number 3, and the Dolphins are number 1, that tells you all you need to know about their run D, right? So that could be another situation we're looking at here with any 3 of these wide receivers. So, yeah, could any of them get a touchdown? Yes. Could Golden get a bomb? Yes. Could Josh Jacobs go for 200 and 2 touchdowns? Yes. And the wide receivers do nothing? Yes. That's how the Green Bay Packers offense is going to be. They're kind of like the Los Angeles Chargers, who I will talk about here in a second. So here we go. The 5-3 Chargers headed into the 1-7 Tennessee Titans, and we know their season is pretty much over here. Now, when it comes to the Chargers, it's just like the Green Bay Packers. Now, the over-under on this game is 43.5, and the Chargers are favored by 10.5. So you're looking at another game, just like the Packers were favored by 12.5. How much of the Titans are going to stay in this game? We don't even know if Calvin Ridley is going to be out there. But if Calvin Ridley is out there, he's going to be a flex play for me just based on pure volume. Now, Chargers side, Lab McConkey emerging as the one. I like him as a high-end flex play. Keenan Allen, Quentin Johnson, pick your poison. Keenan Allen's always a safe flex play. Quentin Johnson could drop a 0. Quentin Johnson could drop 20. He could hit a bomb, and you could be like, man, I'm mad I didn't start Quentin Johnson. He's kind of like a Jameson Williams, Xavier Worthy, Matthew Golden type to me in this situation. Now, you got to look at the Titans' defense here, and the Titans are getting gashed by the run as well. So the Titans rank 24th versus the wide receiver, getting 35.1, 100 receptions, which is bottom 10, 1,299 yards. They're getting throttled all the way across, run and pass. They're absolutely terrible. Bottom 10 in almost every single category. So, yeah, these guys are all flex plays. They could all pop, but this game could also be over very, very quickly with how potent this Charger offense looks with Joe Alt back on the offensive line. Now, on the Titan side, remember, Calvin Ridley is purely based off of if he's going to be out there or not. I'm probably going to say most likely not, because they're, let's just put him down here for now. Nah, we'll leave him up here. I do like him as a flex play if he plays, because I think the volume will be there in bunches, and I think that Ridley could have a big game, just garbage time based either way. So I'm going to put Calvin Ridley as a flex here. If Ridley is out, Chimera DK becomes a low-end flex, who is becoming like the number 1 wide receiver in Tennessee while Ridley is down. It has not been Alec Ayamanor, which is interesting. And you're seeing Gunnar Helm get a little work over Chickaconquo. So the Titans probably looking to get younger here. So, I mean, even if you have the waiver wire tonight and you're watching this now, DK is a great pickup just in case Ridley is moved. But you're going up against the Chargers, man. This defense is just good all the way around. They're number 8 versus the wide receiver, 27.7 points per game, 89 receptions, 1,058 yards, and 4 touchdowns. That's top 10 in almost every metric. So it's a tough matchup, but garbage time is what I'm looking for here with the Titans. The 3-4 Atlanta Falcons, coming off that ugly loss, are headed into the 6-2 Patriots. I'm not going to put Casey Washington up there yet. He's the wide receiver 3 right now, with Ray McLeod getting sent out of town for God knows what. I wish I knew that inside story on that one. Over-under is 45.5. Patriots favored by 5.5 in this game. Now, I don't have Drake London as a full start, because you're going to draw Chris Gonzalez, who is a lockdown shadow corner. But we hope we get Michael Penix back, man, because we saw Kirk Cousins, and it was fugly, ugly, man. I don't even know if that's going to get him a job anyway after seeing that, if the quarterback got injured. Do you want to pay Kirk Cousins' contract for that gameplay? I do not think so. And this Patriots defense, man, they're the number 1 defense in fantasy football in total points. They're number 12 versus the wide receiver, getting up 30 points a game, 82 receptions, 1,064 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Those are all top 10 metrics. That they the touchdowns put them over a little bit. That's kind of outside the top 10, but that's what pushes them outside overall. But this defense is great, and they just made a couple trades right now. I think they're about to pick up on something here. So With Boutte in the wide receiver group, I'm going with Diggs as a start. Boutte, he's hit a bunch of home runs back-to-back for 2 long touchdowns. Not sustainable volume-wise, but still been a good play, so he's a flex play if you need. And Pop D, Kyle Williams, and Chisholm, they're not even in a thought for redraft for me. But Mooney, I'm sitting, and Drake London's a high-end flex play for me, not a start, because this is going to be a tough matchup versus Gonzalez out there. My 5-3 49ers are headed into MetLife Stadium to take on the 2-6 New York Giants. 48.5 over under. 49ers favored by 2.5 on the road here. And again, we do not know still about Ricky freaking Pearsall. I mean, they may as well just put this guy on IR, man. So we don't know what's going on with him. We're supposed to get an update here coming soon. Juan Jennings as well. Flex play for me still. Not smash start for either one of them. Even though the matchup is actually pretty good versus the New York Giants here. Their front seven is good. Christian McCaffrey also coming off a bad game. I mean, it should be a smash start. We don't know if we're going to get Mac Jones or Purdy either. And we don't know anything about our defense, although we just traded for White from the Patriots, which is a nice little defensive piece for us. Our defense couldn't stop the Houston Texans from 40 minutes of possession. Do I think the Giants are going to do that? No. But when I'm looking at the situation, if Ricky Pearsall is not out there, I'm going to put Juan Jennings up here as a high-end flex, and we're going to put Kendrick Bourne as a low-end sleeper flex play because he does have the connection with Mac Jones if Mac Jones plays. But again, the 49ers situation is all over the place, man, at wide receiver. And Brandon Ayuk, the window should be open soon, by the way, the 21-day practice window. On to the Giants side, this is where I love Wan'Dale Robinson. Malik Neighbors, obviously season is over. Slayton, I'm not starting because you're going to draw DeAndre Lenore. And why have I said this every single week? Every single week since the injury to Fred Warner, since the injury to Stout, since the injury to freaking Bosa, since Huff is down. It's a nightmare out there for my 49er defense, and Robert Saleh is just trying to glue the pieces back together. We get crushed across the middle and by the slot wide receiver. This is going to be a Wan'Dale Robinson game where I love him as a start, and I'm probably going to rank him pretty high in my receiver group because we can't stop this. And what did I say with Jalen Noel last week? Jalen Noel only played 39% of the snaps and had 11 fantasy points. We can't stop anything across the middle. This is going to be a feast Wan'Dale Robinson game. The 7-1 in Fuego, probably going to get a home freaking field advantage playoff game. Indianapolis Colts are headed into the 4-3 Steelers. Over-under is 50.5. Why is it so high? Because the freaking Colts average 35 or 34 points a game. They're absolutely ridiculous. So when you're looking at this matchup here, Michael Pittman, and last week I was down on Pittman and I was down on Downs because I said Jonathan Taylor would get 3 touchdowns. He got 3 touchdowns, and so did Pittman, and so did Downs. I'm done doubting the passing game here with Danny Dimes. Pittman has to be a start. Downs can be a flex play, and Adonai Mitchell, man, someone go trade for my guy. He is too good to be sitting on the bench and wasting that talent. But when we're looking at the Steelers defense, why do you got to like it? Well, they rank 28th versus the wide receiver. That's 5th worst. 39 points per game, 107 receptions. That's 3rd worst in the NFL in just receptions. 1278 in yards. That is 4th worst in yards. Absolute smash play here for the Colts wide receivers. On to the Steelers side now. DK Metcalf. This one's kind of interesting here. So you're going to look at it. It's going to look great on paper, right? Because the Colts, they rank 30th versus the wide receiver. But their defense, like I've said in other videos, really isn't that bad. It's because they're blowing everybody out by such a high margin. This is like Tom Brady's Super Bowl undefeated team blowout margin that their defense just ends up getting gashed. They're not really a bad defense, but where they get hurt is the slot. If they get DK Metcalf going in the slot, then he could have a really big game here. But they give up 39 points a game, 120 receptions. That's the most in the NFL. 1,363 yards. That's second most in yardage. But again, they're killing people when this happens. So, you really don't get the full look at the Colts defense, but you still got to like DK and Pittman as starts here, and Josh Downs as a flex play if you need. The game that scares me the most for the wide receivers is here. The 6-2 Denver Broncos are headed into the 3-4 Houston Texans. I put it wrong. The Broncos should be on top. The Texans are at home, but I messed that up. But so let's talk about the Texans first here. And Nico Collins gets a little saving grace with the Patrick Surtain injury, out 4 to 6 weeks with the pectoral muscle. Thank God. They thought he was going to miss the season, so that was huge. We don't know about Christian Kirk and Jaden Higgins. I'm not starting once, Nico Collins is back out there. And Jalen Noel, I'd put him up there if Christian Kirk wasn't going to play, which we don't know yet. So again, things to think about, but I'm not starting Noel. Noel was just a 1 week hit last week, and it was actually a great call. And I like to ladder him up to 70 yards, and he almost hit it. But I hit the 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 ladder, which was nice. So when you're looking at this, it's not pretty at all. Denver Broncos, number 2, 26 points a game. Second best defense versus the wide receiver. 94 receptions, 1,026 yards, only 2 touchdowns because they are locked down. But with Patrick Surtain out there, it is going to make Nico Collins a start for me, even though it's still a tough front. They're still going to get after C.J. Stroud in that bad offensive line. And, Nico's coming out the concussion, so we're hoping for that Nico Collins update to hit here soon. I'm almost positive he's going to play. It says trending upward, so I think we're good there. On to the Denver Broncos side. I mean, this is the number 4 pass defense as well. The Houston defense is freaking good, guys. Their front gets after you. They got 2 of the best ends in football. Their secondary is damn good. And Cortland Sutton, I know he dropped a touchdown and got a touchdown call back last week. He was the smash play that I missed on for sure. I mean, Troy Franklin has his big game. Marvin Mims has a concussion. We don't know if he'll be out there. Pat Bryant, could I throw him up there? I'm not going to start him in a redraft. There are also a lot of talk of the Broncos going after Rashid Shaheed. So how much do they really trust Franklin or Mims kind of thing? So I just don't like this matchup. I got Cortland Sutton as a flex play at best. He's usually a start, like a wide receiver 2 for me. Not this week. I do not like even the implied point total is 39.5. That tells you right there that they don't like this for a scoring game, and neither do I. Troy Franklin, low-end sleeper flex play if you want. I know people are going to be riding high off last week and think that he's going to hit again, and I'm probably going to get 100 questions on the start-sit show on Thursday. I just don't trust it here in this game. I do not like it that much, but if you want to throw it out there as a low-end flex play, that's fine. The 4-3 Jaguars are headed into Las Vegas to take on the 2-5 Raiders. 44.5 over-under. Jacksonville is favored by 3.5 in this game. And get your popcorn ready. My guy, Travis Hunter, who the Jacksonville Jaguars spent all their capital on in the draft to move up in the second spot and take, is about to become the focal point of this offense. That is why Liam Cohen went out and drafted him. That is what I've been talking about all off season long. And I had to take 6 weeks of shit, and now it's about to come out clean on the other side for a little Shawshank Redemption quote there. But Travis Hunter is going to be a start for me. The targets were massive last game. The usage was massive. I know he got his touchdown in garbage time. I don't care. That doesn't mean anything to me. The volume is what I look at. And Brian Thomas Jr. has been dropping balls like crazy. I don't know if he's even going to be healthy for this game. I'm going to check the update right now, because when you're rolling through this many, you kind of missed a look at it. Not expected to be traded is the update, but I don't see, I never thought he was going to get traded, but I don't see what happened with his injury as well, so I don't see anything up there currently. I'm assuming he's going to be out there off the bye. He's going to be a flex play for me with major touchdown upside, especially with Travis Hunter that's going to start to draw all the attention across the middle, because he's a superstar wide receiver. Now, moving on to the Raiders side, this is just, that's the Texans. This is just a nightmare. So I don't even know what the Raiders are doing to go and get Tyler Lockett. Like, what the fuck are we doing, Pete Carroll? Make it make sense. You don't need that. You already have Thornton and Beck, who are young wide receivers, and Trey Tucker, who are young wide receivers. Yeah, if you want to trade Jacoby Myers, you get a veteran presence in the locker room, but Tyler Lockett is cooked, man. So we don't even know if Jacoby Myers is going to stay on the Raiders at this point, so you got to watch out for that as well. Trey Tucker would be kind of nice for like a home run type hit. You know, he's been out there a lot on the field. The matchup is great versus the Jags. They've been struggling, but, you know, they traded for the Newsome. He came in there for one game, and their other corner kind of struggled, but he's actually a good corner. So I don't think their defense is this bad, really, but they ranked 26th, giving up 36.4, 88 receptions, 1,059 yards, and the big number is the 10 touchdowns. They struggle stopping in the red zone for the wide receivers, which really hurts them. So Raiders side, I mean, low-end flex play on Tucker or Jacoby Myers if they're out there, if Jacoby Myers isn't traded. And then Thornton, Beck, Lockett. I don't know what the Raiders are doing there. The 1-7 just dusted Spencer Rattler off and brought in Tyler Shuck Saints are heading in to face the LA Rams off a bye, and this is as scary as it gets with the rookie quarterback going up against the Rams defense. But what did I talk about all year long with the Saints? Volume. Chris Olave averaging like 10 or 11 targets a game. This is what you want. He's always going to be a start for me because I chase volume. Even playing from behind, no matter what it is, Olave, always a start for me, always a wide receiver 2 with touchdown upside. Now, Rashid Shaheed coming off that 12-target game, I don't know if that was a, let's trade kind of showcase game for him, which is very, very nice, and there's a lot of interest right now as well, so we don't even know if Shaheed will be out here in this game with them. Maybe that's why they traded for Devon Bailey way back for that weird 4th pick for a 27-year-old wide receiver, which made no sense either. I mean, the Saints, I can't make sense what Loomis does here. It's absolutely bonkers. And Brandon Cook's not going to be a thought for me. But when you look at the Rams D, they're ranking 20th, giving up 33.5, 93 receptions, 1,128 yards, and 5 picks. But they're a very young secondary, very young front line, and they are gelling and they are coming together nicely. So I really don't think that defense is that bad. Rams side, and this one is also really, really one of those moments, man. It's 44.5 over under. Rams are favored by 13.5. If they get ahead, say Kyron scores the first 2 touchdowns, how much, is Puka and Devontae Adams going to be needed? I'm still always starting these guys. I mean, this is the best wide receiver in football until he got injured, and Devontae Adams probably the best route runner and veteran there is in football right now. He's an absolute stud. But this game could get away from them real quick and could become a time of possession game where they don't need to pass much, which is what I said kind of in the Stafford video. I'm still starting both of them. I'm just kind of, you got to temper your expectations here a little bit because you don't know how this game script's going to go. And I think the Rams just beat the brakes off of it. And Shuck's first start, he's in for a nightmare game. The game of the week, baby. 5-3 Chiefs, 5-2 Bills, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen on the same field, starting everyone in this game. Don't care. I don't care about the defenses. I don't care about the matchup. When you get these 2 quarterbacks on the field, it is going to be epic fireworks across the board. So the over-under is 51.5. I like that over. Casey's favored by 1.5. Keon Coleman has been literally nothing since week 1. I even like him as a start in this game because I really think this game is going to be 30-something plus, over 60 points, and everybody's going to be involved in this game. Khalil Shakir coming off that big game, he's going to be a start for me. Josh Palmer, not touching him. And I'm not going to read the defenses here. I know, well, let's do it here. The Chiefs are number 5 versus the wide receiver, but I don't care. It's Josh Allen. They give up 27 points, 89 receptions, 918 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But again, it's Josh Allen. I'm not even thinking about that. Rashee Rice, what did I tell you? Bye. I don't know how many times I told you guys to buy low since week 1. I hope you guys acquired him because look at it now. He is the number 1 wide receiver in points per game just after 2 games. 35% target share from Mahomes. This was always the wide receiver 1. It was never Xavier Worthy, never Hollywood Brown, never Travis Kelce. It was always Rashee the Man Rice. And you're never sitting this guy for the rest of time or for, I guess, I don't know how the suspension plays out, but the next 5 years. What is he, 25, maybe 3-4 years. So Xavier Worthy, I even like Xavier Worthy as a high-end flex play in this game as well. Why? Because I think the game is going to go through the roof. And I think the points are going to fly off the board. I'm going to put Keon Coleman as a high-end flex play too, not a full start there. Now, Hollywood Brown, he could also catch a touchdown, but I don't trust it. But it was kind of enticing to see Xavier Worthy get a couple more looks last game, which was nice to see, in kind of a blowout game too as well. But, there was no JD5. But that's at least encouraging. He got a little bit of a floor last week instead of having completely none. But in this game, man, I think this is going 35, 33, 35, 38. I want every piece of this game, and I want to be starting all 4 of these wide receivers as high-end flex and must-start plays. Sunday Night Football, the 5-2 Seahawks heading into the 3-5 Commanders. Sam Darnold off the bye. Commanders off that loss to the Chiefs here. This game is going to be a 46.5 over-under. Seattle is favored by 3.5. At JD5 practice today, it looks like he's going to be good to go. Now, when it comes to the J season side, oh my God, this matchup is just going to be pure gold. And you've seen this guy out there. He is the number 1 probably wide receiver in fantasy football when the season is over. He's probably going to chase every single record that there is. He could possibly get 2,000 yards. It's nuts what he's doing right now. And they're very, very weak versus the slot in Washington. It's crazy. But this is them overall versus the wide receiver, 35.4. Ranking 23rd, 96 receptions, 1,305 yards, which is bottom 3 in the NFL. 8 touchdowns to the wide receiver, which is bottom 5. This matchup is absolutely pure gold. They've also given up 96 receptions as well, which ranks bottom 10 there as well. So Cooper Kupp is even a low-end flex play in this game. And I've kind of said on Twitter too, I do think off the bye, like Kubiak's going to try and get this run game actually like kicking here. But it's such an advantageous matchup for Jay Season 2. And, you know, he's just, God, he's so good. It's crazy. On to the Washington Commanders side. I mean, Terry McLaurin, Deebo Samuel, both going to be starts for me if JD5 is out there. Seattle, their defense does rank 16th, giving up 31.7, 86 receptions, 973 yards, and 6 touchdowns. All very good numbers there. And they've been banged up, and they're coming off a bye. They're probably going to have their secondary healthy. But still, if JD5 is out there at the quarterback, Terry McLaurin, the connection is there. Deebo is going to be more involved in the screen game in the Kingsbury offense. And I really think that the 46.5 over-under, if JD5 plays, is free money right now. And I think it goes way higher than that. Last but not least, Monday Night Football, 54.5 over-under. The Arizona Cardinals headed into the Dallas Cowboys. Now, oops, I messed this one up. Well, mid-talk, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to put Pickens as a high-end flex play, not a start. So last week, and a bunch of people gave me stuff on all comments and everything. I was like, man, dude, CeeDee Lamb is not going to have one of those CeeDee Lamb games. Like, he's going to line up in the slot, and Patrick Surtain doesn't shadow. Patrick Surtain was all over him till the injury. And both these wide receivers didn't have a good game. I also said Dak struggles outside in the cold against good defenses, which all came to fruition. Now, and I still had Dak ranked high. So, I mean, I still had Dak as a start. So don't think that I didn't have that. I'm just saying that's stuff I said on stream that I should have just locked in my own head. Sometimes I let other talk get to me. But Marvin Harrison Jr. in this game. Now, I know Kyler Murray may be the quarterback, which is just, it's going to make it rough. But this is the best matchup you can get on paper. I mean, they rank 32nd. The Dallas Cowboys defense is terrible since trading Micah Parsons. 41.5 points per game they give up, ranking dead last. 96 receptions, bottom 10. 1,378 yards. That's second worst in total yardage. And the big number is 15 touchdowns. The only team behind them is the Detroit Lions with 11. That is 4 more than the second worst team. Marvin Harrison has to have a game here. And you got to look at it like they're going to be playing from behind. The Cowboys are going to score at will. The Arizona Cardinals defense is not going to keep up with them like the Denver Broncos. And they're at home in Dallas in Jerry's World. All the signs point to Marvin having a big game. If it's not in a close game, garbage time, whatever it is, you have to start Marvin Harrison, even though Kyler Murray's out there. And I know it's scary. Now, on to the Cowboys side, it's another one of those situations. I mean, they are only favored by 2.5, which I think is absolutely free money. But the Arizona Cardinals defense has been kind of decent versus the wide receiver, but they also get gashed by the run, so it's one of those situations. They rank 14th, getting up 31 points a game, 89 receptions, 1,022 yards. So the yardage is there, but three touchdowns. That's the difference. That's not scaring me away from Dak Prescott. I just think this is going to be a CeeDee Lamb eruption game because the Patrick Surtain and the loss they had last week, CeeDee's going to go absolutely nuclear, which is why I've dropped Pickens down to a high-end flex play. Still like him to be out there, but I just think this is number 88 taking this game home. Thanks for rocking with me today, guys. That is the end of the episode. That is every single matchup, every wide receiver, every start sit that you guys need to help you out. If you have any questions as well, it doesn't pertain to this video. If you can't make any of the live shows this weekend, drop them in the comments. I try to answer every single one of them. If you haven't checked out the Guys FF or drafters.com, both of these are pinned at the top and in the description once again, where me and Big Draft Energy in the Discord talk fantasy football 24/7 off stream with you guys to help you guys out when we're not live on the shows. Now, I've got my running back, quarterback. I've got the defense kicker rankings out. I don't know if I'll get to my tight ends probably in the morning. And then tomorrow we dive into all the rankings, and I'll drop all of those tomorrow before the Thursday night kickoff. And then we'll look at some smash start and some sleeper plays, hopefully getting all of it out Thursday because it is my birthday weekend again on Halloween. And we just got plans galore this weekend. So I'll still be live for the shows I'm hoping for. So that's it for me in this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and I'll catch you guys in tomorrow's episode, starting off with the tight end, guys. Sleaze Bomb out.